Mammal survey. We had to consider animal ethics standards were adhered to and considered at all times. The key feature of camera trapping is that it is relatively non-invasive and animals do not need to be captured or handled. There is very minimal disturbance other than the camera flash and the bait station interfering with the animal's usual food hunting and eating habits. Standard operating procedures for camera trapping were applied and adhered to. 5 cameras were used, 1 inside the 50 by 50 quad rat and the remaining cameras on the outside of the quad rat. The 5 cameras were arranged no further than 100 metres from the centre camera, with a distance no further than 200 metres between each camera. The standard bait consisting of oats was used for both the 2014 and 2016 surveys. The bait stations were set 1.5 to 2.5 metres from their corresponding cameras. The cameras were secured 70 centimetres above the ground to a stable tree or picket to ensure minimal movement and disruption from external influences such as wind and animals bumping the camera. A walk test was also carried out in front of the cameras to ensure that each camera was working when triggered by motion. The cameras and batteries were carefully checked prior to the commencement of the camera trapping to ensure they would operate continually throughout the survey period. Any camera failure would result in loss of data otherwise. Fresh batteries were used with the cameras placed to focus on the bait station and set to trigger in sets of 3 upon any movement in the camera zone. This diagram here shows the camera trap distances and the layout. And this one here gives you an idea. It's a diagram showing the setup of the camera trap and the bait station. So obviously the camera here would be set secure to a picket or a secure tree. The results from the 2014 and 2016 Site 1 survey show a higher number of mammals in 2016, with the exception of the black-footed tree rat. The mammals camera trapped in Site 1: possum, wallaby, black-footed tree rat, malamutes, echidna and bandicoot. As you can see, there was a substantial increase in the number of possum and malamutes in 2016 compared to 2014, and a considerable drop of black-footed tree rat triggers in 2016 compared to 2014. As you can see. So there are camera trap results for Site 1. The blue column is 2014 and the orange column is the 2016 data. It probably looks a little bit red, but it's actually orange on there. The 2014 survey, some of the bait stations were damaged, moved or eaten. 2 cameras malfunctioned, resulting in black photos before they stopped working. The Reconex cameras were used during this survey. An overwhelming majority of photos from the 2014 survey were captured during the night, with very limited daytime recordings. With the exception of the wallabies and insects captured at dusk, there were no camera triggers until after 10 p.m, with the camera triggering more into the early hours of the morning. Most of the activity occurred between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5 a.m, and were from the nocturnal mammals moving around the area. 2016 survey, 1 camera malfunctioned and some of the bait stations were damaged, moved or eaten again. Univision cameras were used during this survey. There are some slight differing factors between the surveys conducted in 14 and 16, such as rainfall, cameras, camera malfunctions, and bait stations being moved, eaten or damaged. Upgrading the cameras may be beneficial for any future surveys. Feral animals have the potential to cause problems on the site. A recommendation is to maintain the existing fence lines around the TWP to help keep the feral animals out of Site 1. Conclusion, a wrap up. Our findings were The majority of stem diameter in both Site 1 and the southern site are between 40 centimetres and 50 centimetres, as we saw in the pie table earlier. There does exist a healthy old growth forest in Site 1. The stems with a greater diameter were found in the north and the south areas on the east side of Site 1. Site 1 has a denser tree coverage compared to the southern site. Site 1 remains free from fire damage compared to the southern site samples all with fire scars. And there exists a diverse range of mammals. The 2014 camera trap photos showed nocturnal mammals are more active in the early hours of the day between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. And our acknowledgements. Rather than reading that out, I'll just show you that, or possibly it might work better. And that is the end and a wrap up of the presentation. Thank you.